Alright, what's up, y'all? Today's the 13th of December 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. This is our main side, one of our fourths, and really what we do here on In the Image Clothing Company's main side is allow the body to work. The human body is just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space, and despite popular opinion, there's only one way the human body could ever work. Stick around, don't think I have a claim. We discuss the anatomy of the human body in such depth here, okay? But we're a clothing company. Clothing's the only thing physically placed onto the human body. The human body's placed onto Earth. It's just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. This video is titled, Your Center of Gravity. A lot of what we talk about is just our bodies dealing with Earth's gravity. And that's really what's going on a lot of the time. Well, we've got a center line to the body, okay? The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. The jaw stabilizes the entire body naturally, all the way out to the feet, all the way out to the fingertips, okay? There's a neutral to everything. A neutral to rotations in the forearms, from the thumbs up here with the forearms bent, neutral, then internal rotation, back to neutral, external rotation. In the entire arms with the thumbs pointed up, internal rotation from the neutral, and then external rotation from the neutral. There's just a neutral position to everything in the body. Motion-wise, like the wrist here, it can go down, neutral, up, neutral, down, neutral, up, neutral. There's just only one way the human body could ever work, truly. I mean, there's just only one way, okay? It is what it is. The lower legs, internal rotation from the neutral with the pinky toe straight forward, back to neutral, external rotation, and back to neutral with that pinky toe straight forward. We've just got different length toes. We roll evenly off the ends of our different length toes, and so our feet roll in, okay? There's a natural slight outward curvature to the lower leg traveling up the whole body, just because that's how the feet are shaped. There is only one way the feet work. There is only one way the hands work. A couple videos I made down in beautiful St. George, Utah. This is Utah County, okay? We are actually based in St. George, Utah, as in the Image Clothing Company, and that's important because we live up Utah. We do so much outside, so much under the gift of video on all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company, so much in nature, and I just need to move down to St. George, Utah, but this is Spanish Fork Canyon in Utah County, and it's beautiful, okay? But the entire leg, neutral, pinky toe straight forward, internal rotation from there, back to neutral, and external rotation, okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work. No claim, no opinion. We reside in our neutrals. The whole thing is God designed the body to work. We're designed in the image of God, Jesus Christ, in the Image Clothing Company. Anything that clothes the human being is clothing the human being with something. There's only one way it could ever work. It's a mechanical machine. It's a machine with motion. Things we place on our bodies don't allow the motion to happen a lot of the time, okay? So we're gonna get into it in this video. We've talked about gravity a lot, and I do where I do. As the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, in this for life, right? As the leader of this, I just label myself the founder because that is what I am as well, okay? We talk about gravity so much because there is a center to gravity. There's a center line to the body, and clothing is often not centered, okay? We've got ropes introduced to the body, shoelaces and drawstrings. We've got oversized clothing, imbalances in clothing. You know, ropes can be a ribbon around an apron, a ribbon around a dress. Well, when I say a ribbon around an apron, I mean just, yeah, an apron knot, okay, to keep your apron on. An ascot, a scarf. You tie a sweater or jacket around your waist and you twist your hips, okay? We talk about the pelvis. There's a neutral to the pelvis, posterior, neutral, anterior, neutral, posterior, neutral, anterior, neutral, Earth's gravity. Your body's center of gravity. Is that what it's titled? Your center of gravity? Your body's center of gravity. We'll just say your center of gravity. There you go. That works. Nice and simple. As we are, okay? Minimal, simple, blunt, bold, raw, and real, though, in the Image Clothing Company. We just are who we are, okay? Ideally. the goal is natural on all four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. So, you know, natural and authenticity and natural, neutral, and normal, these are all synonyms. Naturally, the body would reside in its normal position, and that's the neutral between all of its function. Did I mention I'm in this for life? I just, you know, we're only about 14 and a half months into In the Image Clothing Company as of today's date. It's only been me as of today's date. We'll have In the Image Clothing Company team, In the Image Clothing Company's team, which includes purebred standard poodles, and we'll get into that. We'll be down in St. George, Utah. We'll be doing a lot, you know, down there and throughout the state of Utah. But a lot of this is just foundational documentation of what we will always be doing and the truth of what's really going on with the body, which it's nothing to do with me. I say we discuss universal eternal truths under In the Image Clothing Company, and I don't get to decide. No human being can decide truth. It's God's design of the human body. How does it work? Why is it not? And we get into it. We talk about eating, sleeping, standing, walking, sitting, breathing, hydration, everything we do as a human being, and doing these things naturally. We live in an unnatural, modern, man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. And a lot is just so damaging to us that we don't even know about. Unnatural things in our food, unnatural materials in our clothing, stretch within clothing that goes the opposite direction of the only way that muscles could ever work. The human body only pulls. Another video filmed where those other videos I referenced a few minutes ago here were filmed down in beautiful St. George, Utah, okay? The human body only pulls. Muscles only take endpoints and pull them together, even in what seems like a push. On the backside of a function, muscles pull together to extend a joint. There's only pulling that happens. The muscles of the body only contract. Stretch within clothing only exists from today's date back just a few decades. It's new, is the point. Stretch in clothing is really damaging the body, okay? Stretching the body is damaging. There's just two sides to something. You stretch all the way one way, and now what about the other side? You have to get all the way back to the neutral, and then there's a whole other side from there. You have to reside in your neutrals. You're not going to benefit your body from stretching it just about ever. Okay, times and places, and sure, if, maybe, when, but no. Okay, we talk about it, we talk about it, we talk about it. The answer is no, don't. Please don't. Don't stretch your body. The human body has to work activated as a whole. It's all there. Everything has a role to play. But it's all got its own individualistic role, so nothing can actually compensate for anything else not working, like the core. Okay, the core has to stay activated, which sounds crazy to some, but it's just the center of the entire body. If we never placed clothing on the body, if we never placed the body in a modern man-made world with chair heights, with weight on our hamstrings, which is the muscle of the rear of our upper leg that deactivate the muscle, we're supposed to sit on our sit bones, the ischiums, the rear of the pelvis or the hip structure, okay? Yeah, there's glutes there, but they're called sit bones for a reason. That's where the body sits, not on the muscle of the hamstring, okay? It deactivates the whole body. We've got a lot of things in modern day that are just really damaging our bodies. So the core always has to, always would just be activated. It's the center of everything. It's like an apple. The core of it has to be there or nothing else is. No claim, no opinion, no belief. Don't believe me. Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, or In the Image Clothing Company, or anyone at In the Image Clothing Company's team with any of our information. Because truth is truth. We're just relaying information. We're relaying truth. We're just discussing what's really happening, and we know what we're talking about. So don't believe us. And that's crazy sounding to some. Again, you know, some of these things don't make sense unless they do. To you specifically, but you have your center of gravity. And clothing has to stay centered. Fit correct, where we discuss clothing sits for everyone, and be made in all the ways that we can in a modern man-made world from 100% natural materials, not unnatural materials, which is so common. That's what often, you know, brings stretch, is these unnatural materials, but also it just seeps into the pores. We put a topical cream on the skin to heal the body from the inside out. It soaks through the skin. These unnatural materials are unnatural, artificial, synthetic, synonyms with fake. And it soaks into our bodies. Okay, so let's get into this. Your center of gravity. The body has a center of gravity. The musculature that only pulls connects from the outside of the shoulder into the center and the sternum in the front, evenly on both sides. Okay? From the outside of the shoulder into the spine in the center and the rear, evenly on both sides. We've just got then a neutral to the body. The natural scapula position, a video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company here. The scapulas, or the big bones on our upper back, which are the shoulder, they have a natural, neutral, and normal position to sit in, just like everything in the body, okay? It's impossible to train posture. The body's just working or it's not. If it's not working in part of it, other things are compensating, and it becomes what looks like bad posture. But it's just, your body's not just working altogether as if it was never altered. Deformities, amputations, major surgeries, birth defects, anything like this that sets your body apart quite a bit, a little bit, anything that makes you different. Well, everyone's different to some degree. We recognize these things, but there is a universal human design. We learn about the anatomy of the human body, and it applies to everyone. We have to get as close as we can to that functioning as we can in our own individualistic situations. Okay, there you go. Allowing the body to work. Really what we do is get out of chronic patterning and scar tissue that gets built up over years and years and years, decades, lifetimes. It is reversible, but it's not a walk in the park, okay? Funny, I'm actually at a park here in Spanish Fort Canning in Utah, okay? So let's talk about this, because we have, this is humbling. The way I've laid this out before I've even discussed this is it just shows me how far we've come with this in the Image Clothing Company. Yeah, okay, the center of gravity. So let's talk about it, because let's talk about it. Clothing sits in the same location for everybody. Man, woman, tall, short, skinny, fat, any age, any part of the earth, any time period to ever be, you're just a human being. Pants sit entirely above our hips at what's called our natural waist. Above those hip bones, but below the lowest ribs, and slightly higher in the front than the rear, okay? We bend side to side at our spine there at the natural waist, but also we're on Earth's gravity, and we just need that neutral pelvis rotation, posterior versus anterior. And if the pant waistline falls any farther and lower in the front, well, we do things in front of ourselves, and so our bodies will just deactivate, and we'll lose half of our body's rotations if we just are in an anterior position of the pelvis always. And it hurts the voice, it hurts the back, it hurts the hip flexors and the neck and the shoulders. Your feet arches collapse. You're stuck in external rotation. Anyway, the whole body is the point, everything. I mean, those are just some of the things that happen. The entire body gets damaged because half of your body's rotation is internal. Okay? The core can never deactivate, so that's why the pant waistline just has to sit on Earth's gravity. Neutral. Okay, so if it's slightly higher in the front, that just ensures it doesn't drop any lower in the front. Okay, so tops that we wear, the seams on top of our shoulders, need to sit evenly behind the peak of our shoulders. Our shoulders only ever work behind our head. That's just where they connect to our body mechanically. Okay, the upper trapezius muscles connect from the top and rear of the shoulder along there, and then to the spine of the neck and to the base of the rear of the skull. Those are the muscles that lift the shoulders, okay? Everything has to play its role and its function in the body. The feet are deactivated with their arches if the shoulders aren't holding themselves up. This is the problem. We can address the body in one part of it or multiple different parts of it, but if we're not looking at it as a whole, then you can't look at it. Anywhere any of you goes, well, you can't look at it to try to address something, okay? Because anywhere any of you goes, all of you comes. The human body just works all together, or it doesn't work at all, really. It's just in a constant state of compensation, okay? For lack of functioning in certain parts of it. On your center of gravity. See what I mean? So, the truck's noisy. There you go. So, we talk about things all the time, right, which will damage the body. Things like the rotations of the body, things like just keeping clothing centered. So, So that's how I feel. It's such a big video. I'm like, where do I go with this? Because I know, but it's so big that I don't know how I'm able to do this kind of stuff. It's so humbling. Okay, the edge seams of our tops, we talked about the top seams sitting behind the peak of the shoulders because the shoulders follow shoulder seams. Okay, the top's just placed on us with gravity. Again, gravity. That's one of the biggest things, okay, that we deal with as human beings. But the edge seams of our tops just need to be as close as we can get to the edge of our shoulders, okay? Because it's a joint of body parts, the humerus, which is the upper arm bone, the clavicle, which is the collarbone, and the scapula, which is the shoulder blade. There's just a motion there that happens, and if we can get our seams to be as close as we can get to the joint of our material, if we're saying shoulders have seams and clothing has joints, we can say shoulders have joints and material has seams. It's got to mesh in the same location as close as we can get, okay? There you go. That's baseline where clothing sits. Two things we have as prerequisites under In The Image Clothing Company to not alter the body. Firstly, tags in clothing didn't exist just decades ago from today's date. They're either causing a physical gap wherever they're placed in clothing, changing the body's only working position, and or they just don't allow musculature to activate, then compensation is trying to happen in the body. But we have another prerequisite as well. In The Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique is just the only way we can weave a rope across the top of the human feet and not alter the mechanics in there. Bones connecting to bones through ligaments and muscles connecting to those bones through tendons. We grip arches inward and we walk and we stand and we move and we got this springing ability to our feet, and it only works one way, okay? Like the video I referenced that I filmed in St. George, Utah. There is only one way the feet work. We've also got a video titled There's Only One Way the Feet Are Shaped, which is In The Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. It's just what we title it. It's no breakthrough, but we're just putting a rope across the top of our feet. Well, it was a breakthrough to me personally when I understood what was happening, but you know, it's just what it is the point. We can't own this information. We're just discussing the truth, okay? As In The Image Clothing Company. So there you go. That's baseline where clothing sits, and then our two prerequisites. Wow. Okay. Awesome though. Seriously. There you go. Because we talk about so many things that are altering the body, and we talk about the body needing its even contractions on both sides. We've got hundreds and hundreds of videos today. As of today's date is what I mean, on just the main side of In The Image Clothing Company alone. And there's, you know, hundreds on some of the other sides as well, some of the other thirds of In The Image Clothing Company. But the point really is Earth's gravity. I mean, that's such a big point. The muscles contraction, sure, okay? The non-restriction of rotations in the body, sure, okay? Just keeping the body in its natural amount of opposition in all its function, sure. But so much of it is just Earth's gravity. And I filmed a video in beautiful St. George, Utah, titled Keeping Our Bodies Over Earth's Gravity, okay? But a lot of it is your center of gravity personally within your body. Even if we're doing what we can to be intentional, to not do things too big for ourselves and step outside of the length of our feet that grip arches from the outside in, with the shortest toe being that pinky toe on the outside of the foot, okay? The importance of zero drop shoes, the term just meaning the same height front to rear in the sole of the shoe, is a video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. Keeping heels on the ground is a video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. That's actually how we're athletic, because the arches grip from the toes pulling to the heels, and then we have, quote, the height of a gripped arch, unquote. Another video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company here, but that pinky toe is the shortest, and so it just can't reach the ground if we put heels on our shoes under our foot's heel, okay? It's just how it works mechanically. So we've got a lot of things we discuss, and that's a big point, is we just can't do things too big for ourselves outside of our own center of gravity, you know? Because our feet are only so long, and they grip arches, and they have to grip from the toes to the heel, and if you step too far away from yourself, you lift a heel off the ground, or you lift your toes off the ground to reach, and then your big toe tries to reach because it's the longest, but the pinky toe is actually neutral, and it's the shortest. And so we just need to be over our own bodies, okay? but your center of gravity. A lot of this comes within our own bodies because of what's placed on them. So we talk about it, right? In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique, one of the big points of it is the lacing, the actual weave across the top of the feet, because that's half of the foot's function. Dorsiflexion, lifting the toes, is only half from plantar flexion, or pointing the toes. There's two sides to the foot's function, okay? Plantar flexion is the sole of the shoe, pointing the toes, but dorsiflexion is the top of the shoe, or the upper, which is just the lacing technique. That's how we shape the top of the upper of the shoe, the way the top of our feet is mechanically put together and shaped, okay? In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot, I'm in this for life. Here, this is the point, okay? What we talk about, though, as well, just the weave of the rope is one thing, but then we tie shoes just to keep them on. So the right shoe, you tie with what would be a left-handed knot over toward the inside of the body. The left shoe, you tie with what would be a right-handed knot over toward the inside of the body. Just because there's two sides of the body opposing the center line and the feet grip inward, there's opposition in all things. They have to grip from one side in and the other side in to oppose each other to keep us vertical and stable. The wrist can go down because it also goes up. So contraction happens on both sides to stabilize. The jaw stabilizes the entire body. I know I said that, but we put so much focus on the jaw because it's huge. Things like eating and drinking with the left hand, meaning non-dominant, okay? A video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company, but just a big thing that we put a lot of importance and focus on for the functionality of the human being. Designed in the image of God, we're all the same. Same. Okay, so here we go. We've got ropes. And the big point is, with shoelaces or drawstrings especially, and this can be anything else rope-wise on the body, is if you tie what we would call a right-handed knot, which would be the left side over the right, because you're using your right hand with more practice with dexterity, being right-handed in this right-handed world, by the way, 85% give or take of human beings on the planet are right-handed. The patternings we get into are these right-handed patternings, and clothing themselves play into the right-handed world a lot with things like rotated clothing, okay? In the Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification, when we've got things stitched by robots nowadays, they never happened just decades ago from today's date. They'll stitch it one direction, they'll flip it around and stitch it the same direction, and then we rotate our whole bodies with rotated seams in our clothing, placed on us on Earth's gravity when our bodies have a center line. Your center of gravity. This video's title, okay? So that's a big point. And we'll talk about that more as we do, where we do throughout this, if we do, just rotated clothing. I'll do it right now because we have a video under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company here titled Rotated Clothing and Earth's Gravity. If your clothing rotates, okay, and you're just on Earth's gravity, well, your center of gravity is changed. Your body's damaged, okay? Period and done. Man, this is kind of off camber slightly. I do what I can to get the camera to be nice and centered because we talk about staying centered. We talk about allowing the body to work under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company, and that's how we do that. And I'm discussing Earth's gravity here and your center of gravity, and I placed this just on this like water spigot and drinking fountain area, and it's just not level, which is fine. I mean, it's fine, but I just noticed it part of the way through the video. I'm like, you know, I'll address it. There you go, I addressed it. I'm just intentional, you know. I try to be as intentional as I can where I can, and so it's a little bit crooked. I don't think I'm gonna change it, you know, after the fact with you know, trying to like straighten it out through the technology. But anyway, a right-handed knot, what it'll really do is take the left side and put it on top. That's the point, right? You take the left side, put it over the top of the right one, using your more used to being used hand, the right one, you then tuck it underneath, okay? but the right side's on top. That's just how it is, you know. It's just one side of a rope over the other. Okay, right-handed knot, let's say. This is what we call that. Wow. But this is what's happening. Now we cinch this tightly, and one side's just on top of the other. It's the left side, here, is on top of the right side, here, okay? And so now as we pull this tight, we're on Earth's gravity, bottom to top, with the pull, okay? The human body can be affected top to bottom. It can be affected bottom to top, but really the feet are the biggest point first when we're focusing on Earth's gravity, okay? The feet only work barefooted. A video I made down in beautiful St. George, Utah. What I mean is the feet only really work unrestricted, which would be barefooted. So when we put shoes on, our intention just needs to be to have a covering over our foot without altering the way the feet work, because you can't alter the way the feet work. They only work how they do, okay? In the Image Clothing Company shoelacing technique paired with zero drop shoes, the term just meaning flat, you know, minimal and simple, light, fairly thin. But, you know, if you need more protection in times, just that's the focus, is the feet really only do work barefooted. You alter them and you've altered them, and it travels to the tip of your head and the tips of your fingers. That's what I'm saying. With Earth's gravity, our feet are what's supporting us first. The body will be affected from the bottom up, seeing it this way, okay, through Earth's gravity. So what we have is the left side of a rope over the right side of a rope in a right-handed knot. Most all human beings are right-handed. If you're left-handed, it would just be the exact opposite. People are left-handed, okay? But the majority of people are right-handed. So we discussed the right-handed world because even products are right-handed. Even clothing designs to a degree are right-handed, okay? And if you're tying right-handed knots, there you go. Whatever side's on top, just being pulled in and cinched in tightly, will pull the top of you in. So in a right-handed knot, the left side of the rope's on top. And so we're pulling the left side of our bodies over, okay? Which is actually pulling us to the right. Do you see how that works? I don't know if this is long enough to go around my waist. It kind of is. The left side over the right. As we pull this, it's just tilting our bodies over to the right side, okay? Because the left side's just on top. We're just putting two sides of something with one side over the other. And our bodies just will lean off to the right side. So now your center of gravity, anything with a right-handed knot tied around your body, that's what it's that's what it's causing. That's what's happening. That's what's happening, really. It's causing your center of gravity to just shift off to the right. But your body still has a center line, just bones. The sternum, the spine, and the jaw is still trying to stabilize in the center. When your body's center of gravity, quote, your center of gravity, unquote, right, this video's title, is off to the right. But you're not gonna change the center line to your body. Musculature is pulling into the center line of your body, and your center of gravity is off to the side. So now the right side of your body has its musculature elongated or pulled on, or you could say stretched farther than the left side of your body. That's what I talk about often. As the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, this is the point. This is what happens. This is the right-handed world. This is the patterning we get into. The right side of the body gets farther away from the body's center line. Oh, what? Elongated muscles. Woo! Your center of gravity being pushed off to the right side of your body's centered line. Oh, what? That's just what happens. Oh, what? It actually is truth. Oh, what? Clothing really is the only fix to human beings' physical problems. The problems we discuss here, which are universal problems. Everyone's dealing with this across the entire earth, unless you're extremely intentional. Okay? Part of it's just the modern man-made world. You have to be way more intentional nowadays than you ever had to in the past. I didn't live in the past. Before I was born, at least. See what I mean? I'm only 26 years old. We live in a crazy world. It just is what it is. We've got to be intentional. So with the body farther away from itself, elongated muscles, it gets dropped because the muscles just can't do their job to hold the body up. they drop. And then the rotation goes external, which is the same thing, you know, that right-handed patterning as just what's happening in a right-handed knot with the left side tied over the right. Your body's center line remains. The bones where the muscles are connecting to and just the functionality of all of it, it remains. But your center of gravity is just being pulled off to the right. Okay? Damage. Chronically. Chronically meaning for life if we don't address it and break up the scar tissue and the bone spurs and rid the patterning in the areas of the body where, you know, stuff gets built up and damaged. You know, we talk about the entire body. We really do, though. Seriously, this is the point. I'm in this for life because this is eternal. This is unchanging truth, universal to every human on the face of the planet forever. Because the face of the planet is where we're placed, and you know, you have a center of gravity there. Yikes! So this is happening in our feet. Okay, left side over the right. We're just pulling those knots, and the one that's on top is just pulling you over. Right, the left side in a right-handed knot is on top. And it's just throwing you off to the right side. And there's still your center of gravity that has to remain. Oh, shoot. Center of gravity needs to stay where your body's center line is. Your center of gravity has to stay over Earth's universal center of gravity's pole. You place a rope on your body, you've got to be intentional. We talk about drawstrings, how drawstrings affect body mechanics, a video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. We show the slipped lap knot, which I won't even show here. There's just not enough room on the, maybe there is. I'm not gonna show it though, I said I wouldn't. I'm not hiding anything, we have it many places. There's a lot to discuss in this video. And that's, you know, a new knot to learn if you don't know it. The slipped lap knot. It's a slip knot, well it's this knot. It's what I'm using here, anyway. On this rope that I have around my waist, okay? We just need a horizontal waist because you tie a drawstring, right-handed knot, right-handed pull, essentially, of your center of gravity. And there's just a center to the body. Oversized clothing, and these are things we talk about often, but just focusing on it for the sake of showing you do have a center to your own personal role in, you know, being just somebody who deals with gravity. There you go. Yikes. Oversized tops. We live in a right-handed world. If your top is just not like a cage for your shoulders, as we discussed, tops are like a cage for the shoulders. They should just lock the shoulders in place. This tan sweater, it could be slightly narrower at the shoulders for me personally, but the two shirts underneath fit nice and snug at the shoulders. This is just my sweater. It goes over other things, and so, you know, still definitely could be slightly narrower at the shoulders. But there I am addressing it. Okay, just because it's about being intentional. We can't be perfect, but we got to do all that we can. And these are just other people's designs. All the clothing that I'm wearing right now, that's good context as well. This is not In The Image Clothing Company's clothing at all in this video, or any video up until today's date. That's good context as well. Today's the 13th of December, 2025. Okay, so the whole body, it's got to just stay evenly over your center of gravity personally. Okay. And if we have oversized clothing and there's just play in the top and we're just using our right hand and pulling our clothing off to the right side, now you're just out of your center of gravity because the clothing is just on you and imbalanced. And we talk about this, right? In The Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification, if there's a seam in the collar of our tops that's different in one location than the rest of the entire collar that needs to sit around the circumference of our neck evenly, it's different. There's a circumference to the neck. There's musculature and tendons. The jaw is the shoulder, right? Going from the jaw to the shoulder. It just is what it is. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Opposing itself in your center of gravity. Okay? And so, years and years and years of just being out of your center of gravity, that's a lot to deal with. A lot of patterning and scar tissue to break up. We show how to do it. We give so much free information. We give so many free modifications in clothing. You never have to purchase In The Image Clothing Company clothing to allow your body to work, but it will. We'll have all the intentions behind our designs for it to do so, at least, right? And we know a lot about this. I'm just speaking out of experience. I'm just preaching what I have practiced. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos before me saying this right now. I don't have a claim. I've got a deep understanding of what we discussed, though. And your center of gravity has to remain. And it would if you didn't place clothing onto your body. There's a lot more we could discuss. Anything in the body that's just going to pull you out of your center of gravity, okay? You have to stay centered. Otherwise, your body's just using so much effort to just to try to keep you vertical on Earth before you could ever think about doing anything like a workout, which all the benefits from your workouts just go back to the human body's only normal once you stop. So let your body just be what it is. Allow your body to work, but you don't know what you don't know. You can't be held accountable for what you don't know. So check out what we do under In The Image Clothing Company, because I'm in this for life, and I know what I'm talking about with this. I say that for your sake, because this is just universal truth. It's not my decision. I just know God, and we can know God. There's an episode of In The Image Clothing Company podcast titled, well, there's a lot of them. We have 191 episodes of In The Image Clothing Company podcast as of last night. That's another one of our fourths. On In The Image Clothing Company podcast, we have discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh, I'm choking up. Did you hear how I went into starting to say that? I said it so casually, and it caught me off guard. 1/4 of us is In The Image Clothing Company podcast. We have a lot of episodes. We do 191 as of today's date. This is what I mean. We've done so much before now. We know what we're doing with this. We are so rooted. We are so set in stone. Set up for success is an episode title of In The Image Clothing Company podcast in the 180s. We're here. We're rooted. We're ready. We just amplify and expound from here, and it's going to be awesome. Okay. But the gospel of Jesus Christ is just the truth of all things. It's not a claim. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to believe in anything. But we're all human beings. We're all universally designed. We're on the same earth, and we have one God who did all this. We discuss him, Jesus Christ, as he says that he is. We don't do it perfect. That's how I say, and why I intentionally say as often as I do, don't believe me. Don't believe us. But truth is truth. It's apart from us, you know? Things are just what they are, regardless of if you want to have an opinion on them. Because you can't have an opinion on something unless there's first something there to have an opinion on. There's just only one way the human body could ever work. For example, I don't have an opinion, but I have a body, and so do you. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out why it's not working and just allow it to. Okay? Oh my gosh, and I have such a good time with this, okay? I am in this for life. That is actually an episode title of In The Image Clothing Company podcast as well. I'm in this for life. That was me, Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, speaking personally. Okay, there you go. So, we just do it as we do, man. Earth is just what it is. Let's talk about a deep low squat. I'm gonna have to back up for you to actually see me get in a deep low squat. I'm wearing shoes by the brand Vans just because their logoing's on it, so I'll reference the brand, okay? No affiliation, I got them used. Here we go. I'm gonna back up and do a squat. Your center of gravity has to remain. If your pant waistline is just altering your center of gravity, the ankles bend backward, the knees bend forward, the hips bend backward, lower spine bends forward, the mid spine bends backward, the upper spine or the neck bends forward. We just, snake with the activation front to back as we come up on Earth's gravity to stay vertical. There's no such thing as posture, but there is only one way the human body could ever work. And no, you cannot train to it. It's physically impossible. Holy cow. This is the truth, okay? Allow your body to work. And in a deep low squat, you just have to stay vertical over your center of gravity. So if you're already falling forward, shoulder seams sitting incorrectly, right, in front of your shoulders, for example, how clothing causes tight pectoral muscles is a video I filmed on the main side of In The Image Clothing Company here, and it was actually just right over here. Okay? A couple weeks ago, right around Thanksgiving time, give or take. Anyway, Christmas time, maybe, give or take. Well, we had a Christmas party on the 5th and 6th of December. Anyway, there you go. As real as it is, right? I'm just giving context. I'm really just speaking the truth here to the best of what I can. I don't get to decide, but Yeah, just shoulder seams have to sit in the correct location. We've got opposing muscles front to back, right? Just the only neutral for the body. Front to back as well on your center of gravity. Okay, shoulder seams sitting incorrect, pant waistline sitting incorrect. You're already just out of your own center of gravity. Heels on shoes, you're already out of your own center of gravity unless you compensate through the body. Now you can stay vertical, but your body's got excessive bends in it traveling all the way up. You're excessively deeply into ranges of motion of things, and your body's just being overworked. And so that's the point. If you're trying to train into a deep low squat, well, you can't. But what you can do is take the heels off your shoes. What you can do is have your pant waistline in the correct angle and height at your natural waist, slightly higher in the front than the rear. What you can do is have your shoulder seams sitting as close as you can get to the correct location of where your shoulders would neutrally sit. And then if we have these things and everything else we can talk about in the body, like the ropes, okay, shoelaces, drawstrings, anything, and whatever it could be, placed onto the body, because when I talk about where clothing sits, it's the baseline discussion of where clothing sits. But we get really deep with modifying things, with being very intentional about having things be balanced evenly on both sides of the body. We have, a lot going on in clothing. And so you first need to be within your center of gravity. And now you can just do a deep low squat, just staying vertical over your center of gravity and just dropping down deeper into your ranges of motion than you are already while you're standing. You're already in a little bit of bend or range of motion in your body when you're standing to have your muscles activated. Rather than them being fully locked out, we go slightly into a range of motion, and then our muscles can really just stabilize and work, okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work. So I'll squat down in a deep low squat, and the explanation is just to explain the truth. You cannot train it. It's physically impossible to train to a deep low squat. We have God-given ranges of motion. If there is a range of motion you can get to through what you try to do through stretching, well, then it's already there. The bones are just connecting to bones. They can't go any farther without dislocating or breaking or rupturing and pulling muscles or tendons, or ligaments like popping. I mean, it just is what it is. You'll wear down the cartilage between your joints. I have no opinion here. I have no claim. There is only one way the human body could ever work. I have hundreds and hundreds of videos to show the truth of it. So I'm gonna just do a deep low squat because I stay over my body's center of gravity and I just drop straight down. Okay, watch. Straight down, okay? Your center of gravity, you're already in it. You just go lower, in it. And you just all the way down, okay? Heels on the ground, straight up and straight down. So this is the point. This is why people do workouts, and this is why people try to train their bodies. Because if you're not evenly contracted with the musculature opposing the center of your body, if you're not evenly front to back and left to right on Earth's gravity, if you're not tying ropes on your body evenly, the only way your body can mechanically operate, your body's damaged. And so then you try to train into something like a deep low squat. You try to train your core to work and then wear pants that pull you out of your only center of gravity. You're just on Earth's gravity. Your body's just gonna work if you let it, if you allow it to work, but you just don't know what you don't know. I didn't know any of this, right? Just about, okay. Just about any of this. I mean, all of this, I had no idea anything about. All of a sudden I get all emotional because this is the point. Sometimes I speak so loud and bold and it sounds like I'm just out here pointing fingers like, you should know these things, what's wrong with you? No, I didn't know. Until I was about 24, I was tying my shoes both with a right-handed knot. Okay, my whole body was out of my center of gravity, right? Until I was 24 years old. No, I didn't know most any of this stuff until just the past couple years. So I'm not out here trying to, yell at people. When I'm yelling, I just yell. But I'm just discussing it so bold because we've got so many opinions out there, And that's why we, as In The Image Clothing Company, have so many videos, and we always will do so much under the gift of video. This is an eternal documentation. This is no opinion. This is, I've discussed the anatomy and how it works atop the earth in your center of gravity. Okay, you have to stay in your center of gravity. And what you have to do is remove tags from clothing that push you out of your center of gravity on one side of your body. What you have to do is modify a collar that's sitting on one side of your neck, pulling you out of your own center of gravity. If it's got a dreaded collar seam in it. This is what I mean. One thing that small, one little tag in the side of your clothing that's not evenly in the other side of your clothing, and even then it's just gonna constrict your body, and it's gonna not let your body work. Muscles will just deactivate because there's something in the way, synthetic and unnatural, cold if it is, cold outside. That synthetic oil, or natural oil maybe, but synthetic material, it's polyester, right? These tags, against our bodies, they're cold and slippery, and our bodies don't like them. They're scratchy. It deactivates muscles. That's what I say. That's what I said earlier when I talk about removing all tags. One of In The Image Clothing Company's 2 prerequisites in addition to where clothing sits to allow the body to work. I'm in this for life. This is the truth. It's not my opinion. It's not my decision. There's only one way the human body could ever work. And a lot of it's just your center of gravity has to remain. And I'm so mean, aren't I? You know, I get it. I speak so bold. I'm not mean. Sometimes, sure. I'm not mad. I'm crazy. Here's the point. Here's the point, okay? I love it. I love this. It's such a gift to me personally to be able to just do this, to be able to know this stuff from my own personal life, and then I'm just sharing it and building a community or a company of people, and we'll have a beautiful team and beautiful poodles and do things through the internet and the gift of video to share across the entire earth, because we're all universally designed. And this is insane that we're able to do this in modern 2025 and going forth. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm so bold, because it'll never change. You have to hear it correct, or you just might miss it until maybe a later date, you know, but it is what it is. It's not my opinion that there is only one way the human body could ever work. There's no possible way to train it to get it to do anything at all. Never. It could not happen. It's impossible. No opinion. And I'm so bold. I get it. I'm so worked up, aren't I? Right? Anyway, it is what it is, because what I'm saying here is you have a tag on one side of your clothing just causing a physical gap. You just push your body out of your own center of gravity. You've got a seam just on one side of your collar, and it's just hanging now on your neck just because it's just twice as thick material in only one little location, and it's just on Earth's gravity. And you're now pulled out of your center of gravity, and your whole body's damaged because of a tiny seam in a collar, a tiny tag on the side of clothing, a tiny tag in the rear of clothing pushing you forward out of your center of gravity, and now your body has to just compensate to keep you vertical and to have your center of gravity remain. It's just what it is. It's unfortunate, truly. It's sad, without being a bad thing. It's just labeling it as what it is. It's ridiculous. And we just start saying all these words about it, because really, this is the modern man-made world we live in. And what this is elderly people walking around with a cane on one side of their body to support them out of their center of gravity. It's actually deeply ingraining patternings in their whole body. Okay, a walker, put both hands out straight in front of you. You use a cane to support your body. You're not supporting your body. You are ingraining an imbalance in your body. This is the truth. But nobody knows if they don't know. Evan Strong didn't know. I am Evan Strong. I didn't know. I'm not yelling at people. I'm yelling at people. I'm yelling the truth at people. I'm not yelling at the people. Do you see what I mean? I'm yelling at the world, though. God came and overcame the world, you know. The world's crazy, dude. The world puts imbalances in things, maybe intentionally in times. Hey, what's he saying? You know, I'm just saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying something. I'm speaking some words, though. There's only one way the human body could ever work. I'm a lyricist. We have another fourth of In The Image Clothing Company. In The Image Clothing Company poodles. We'll talk about In The Image Clothing Company music. Let's talk about the poodles first. Allowing the body to work, we do the same thing for dogs. We call it letting dogs stay natural. We specialize in purebred standard poodles. We give information that applies to all dogs. And some of our information would definitely apply to just about every animal across the earth. Letting the animal stay natural, whatever it is, right? Yeah. So same thing, right? Eating, sleeping, standing, walking, breathing, sitting, hydration, all the things we talk about for the human beings, we talk about for dogs. And we breed standard poodles, purebred, advocating for pure breeds for the health of dogs, not the prestige. Okay. We keep less dogs in shelters and more dogs at homes through showing how to keep dogs healthy. That's really synonymous with letting dogs stay natural. Also, showing how to be good owners of dogs. That's how we really just keep them at homes, man. But, yeah, it's humbling. I go over to the animal shelter and I hang out with the dogs and I love it. Today's Saturday. I would probably go there today as well as yesterday, but they're closed, okay? So anyway, I love purebred standard poodles. Those are the dogs that we will personally have to be showing our information with, to be hosting what we call poodle parade events with. Bring your poodles, purebred of any size, or mixed poodles of any size, here to the state of Utah, the United States of America. Or if we go to Arizona or Nevada, they're very close to where we're based in St. George, Utah, down at the very southernmost end of Utah. Wherever we do go, right? We'll get people into nature, dogs into nature, get people rooted and grounded, and just have a good time, okay? So we do a lot with dogs, letting dogs stay natural. Collars, leashes, harnesses. The dog has to stay over its center of gravity as well. Keeping collars centered for human beings and dogs. Same information applies, okay? Free modifications and just good products where you can find them, InTheImageClothingCompany.com. Everything comes to our 5-word company name, In The Image Clothing Company. In The Image Clothing Company music is the last fourth to mention here, just the one that I haven't yet, is what I mean. A lot of what gets shown is the sizing and setup of guitar to not alter things like the neutral wrist and the rounding in our hands. We discussed this in all aspects of life, just fingernails and toenails, all the way to the tips of the fingers and toes. There is only one way the feet work. There is only one way the hands work. Well, God-given support by the backing of fingernails and toenails. Cut relatively flat on the tips so we don't roll out of the neutral wrist or the neutral ankle position, okay? There you go. Lyricism, rhythm and poetry. A lot of rap, for real, like legitimately, you know? Humbling. How many times am I gonna get humbled by stuff through this video? I start saying something, I'm like, oh shoot, yep. Lyricism though, spoken word, right? Off the top type stuff, singing, guitar playing, music with the messages geared around the gospel of Jesus Christ on In The Image Clothing Company music. Check it out if you'd like. There you go. So, your center of gravity. This video's title on the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. Today is the 13th of December, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder, sure, but I am in this for life to lead this company, In The Image Clothing Company, okay? Check us out, man. You don't have to care about clothing, especially not about fashion. What we do is for the functionality of the human body and the dogs. Every body has one, or everyone has a body. This information does apply to you. So there you go. I'm gonna go do whatever I do. I'm just so grateful, truly, literally, legitimately, actually, as a matter of factly. There's a lot of things that we need to know, right? And I know a lot of things about this, and it's out of personal experience, prayer and revelation, trial and error, and it's been a lot to get to where I am today. You can watch my body's own personal visual and physical transformation through the gift of video, you know. Things are date marked here, things are time stamped. We're just doing this as we do, right? Your Life as a Journal is an episode title of In The Image Clothing Company podcast. We're just here on this earth for the amount of time we are. What are you doing while we're here? And what we're doing is documenting it and date marking it as In The Image Clothing Company. But you can see my body change from the very founding, okay? The founding date was the 23rd of September 2024 of In The Image Clothing Company to any current or most current date you could find. You can see how my body works. I speak out of experience. I'm not here with a claim or an opinion. I'm not here because I've read some books and I think I know what I'm talking about. I know the truth about this. Don't believe me? It lines up. You do it across the earth and it works for you as well. The same earth, same human beings, designed by one God, it all works the same. We all have our own center of gravity. We all have ropes that we use where we do. We all have clothing we wear. We all sit in chairs where we do. Center of gravity, talk about that. It's here. Now you sit back here. Whoa, 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 whoa. A deep low squat's just straight down in your own center of gravity. Sitting on the ground is a position you can stay over your own center of gravity. We talk about these things. You can't train posture, but you can keep your body over its own center of gravity. And it'll just work because there's opposing muscles, because there's opposing sides, because there truly is only one way the human body could ever work, because Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company, does not have some claim, and this could never just be some startup company. This is eternal. Okay? So I'm gonna pout about it. I'm gonna do a cartwheel. What's up, y'all? Okay, thank you.